Hey, I can do video blogs.
Good day, and welcome to another episode of Jimmy Jaunt. So, started out the morning heading out to Sanford. We were going to meet up with the Oviedo motorcycle riders and heading out from the local Wawa gas station. So, pulled into the gas station, and lo and behold, Jeff, the leader of the Oviedo riders, happened to be filling up right in front of me. A couple seconds later, William showed up. So he honked as he passed me and then pulled up to the pump in front where Jeff was and got his gas. So we were all fueled up, parked over in the side lot, got some coffee, and then we headed out. So we headed up Tomoka Farms Road, which, if you're familiar with the area or if you come out here for Bike Week or Biketoberfest, this little bar at the corner, the Cabbage Patch. On the left-hand side there's parking. On the right-hand side, behind the facilities, they have coleslaw wrestling, very popular. So we continued up, got onto International Boulevard, and came across around the Daytona International Speedway, and they happen to be having a American Ninja competition going on there recording tonight. So we continued on, went up alongside the Intercoastal, heading out of Daytona Beach area and headed up towards the Flagler Beach area. There's some nice routes going from Daytona Beach up to Flagler along the Intercoastal. This would be on the west side of the Intercoastal, and one of those areas would be the Ormond Beach Loop area, we call it, and it runs through intercoastal / swampland, a lot of sawgrass, and decent tree coverage, so it's a nice area to ride, especially in the summer. You get a lot of shade, so it's comfortable, and it's right off the water, so it's a nice area to visit, and we always like cutting through there if we can. This road during the summer months, during the rain, will oftentimes be completely flooded, but even fun to get across on the bike. And then we hit more tree-covered lanes as we're heading out through the Ormond Beach Loop to head up north to get to St. Augustine. And after this turn, this is one of the nicer areas, I think. The road gets a little bit more narrow, and it kind of has a tendency to go pretty much straight, but it almost feels like the trees are encroaching a little bit more, so it's kind of like a little bit of a jungle ride. And then we go across the Intercoastal Bridge, heading over to Flagler Beach. And as we come down the bridge, crest the bridge, come down the road, you can start seeing the ocean. And then they have a little farmers market swap meet that goes on here almost every Saturday, sometimes on Sunday, right before the A1A. So we headed north on A1A and headed up towards St. Augustine. A lot of nice views of the beach. Had a little bit of erosion from the last hurricane, so a lot of repair work, but you can still see some decent waves the beach had really changed its dynamic. It pretty much had two ledges of beach now, where instead of being one nice. And then we came across the old Lions Bridge and into St. Augustine, and they had a Indian event going on. We aren't sure exactly what it was. So we weaved through a few of the back streets of St. Augustine and got our way to the back parking lot of the Columbia and parked the bikes, went in, and had a great lunch. Jeff, who led the group, decided that he didn't want to stay for lunch. He had some other plans, so he ended up getting back on the bike and taking off before we even got into the restaurant. Now we got to this intersection, and the lady, I don't know if she had to have noticed the debris under her car first, but she decided to pull forward, so I guess we could pick it up. So she pulled forward, kind of pointed that there was something on the ground behind her. So I went ahead and pulled up alongside so I could at least grab the one large piece. I couldn't get the other piece because she hadn't moved forward enough, but I handed it off to William and he threw it to the side of the curb. And then here, William and I were heading closer to the forest to do some camping, and I decided to get on it and just, good thing I had the traction control because my front wheel was hopping like 2 or 3 times, but it kept me from lifting the wheel. We got to the Rodman campgrounds and decided we'd check to see if there was availability. It's $12 a night for primitive camping, and they have full facilities. But unfortunately they were completely booked. It turned out they had a bass fishing competition, so all the sites were taken. And on the way back to the WMA, we found a lot of military vehicles. Chances are they're going out to the Rodman Dam, and decided to do some off-roading. So we got to the WMA, pulled into the back camping area. There's 3 or 4 camp spots back here, or picnic tables at least, and we found a spot kind of in the back corner under good shade, so we decided to park here and set up the tent gear. Now I was trying a Hennessy camping. I think it was a Hennessy Safari hammock, and the whole idea is that this hammock, you should be able to set it up and within 4 minutes have a camping hammock, so you could basically sleep there and be fine. Well, it took a little bit longer. I think it took me about 41 minutes. The biggest problem is I didn't know how to tie knots, so I had to have William helping me on that. And it was a comfortable tent, but I'm not really too sure I liked it enough. So I was reading the instructions and trying to understand what they meant by looping 3 times and then doing figure 8s at least 3 times in order to tie a 2 half hitch knot at the end. Finally gave up on that, and William went ahead and got that hooked up. So we found out we needed to be, there was too close to the trees, so I went ahead and moved the camera. We strung it up to the other tree, and it turned out that we were a little bit too low. When I got it set up and sat in it, I was touching the ground. So we have to basically set up the main support line to be eye level or head level, almost as high as you can reach. The ropes that are tying from the hammock to the tree, they have a tendency to stretch really bad. So we ended up raising it up so it was above my head, and when I got in it this time, it basically kept me about 2 feet off the ground, which seemed to work pretty well. So I got completely into the hammock just to kind of make sure that I could fit without, being too uncomfortable or anything, and it worked fine. So decided to set it up as was, and tied up the guide line for the tarp cover, and then went ahead and staked the tarp cover to the sides to basically get a little bit more ventilation through there so that I could have a breeze. Now I didn't have a problem with the breeze and by the time we left in the morning, about 6:30 in the morning, it was right about 35, I think William said. So that was a little bit too cold.
That's really fascinating. I'm really going to have to read up on
But William was saying he wasn't going to have any liability if I fell. So good to know he was helping.
And all that time that William helped me do this one, he had his done. You're not going to have any liability?
No.
Okay.
So thank you for watching and hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe so you can catch the other videos that I produce. All right, thank you and have a great day.